Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Titan class event, the strongest hero class currently within Gems of War. So as far as the restriction, we have to use Stormheim Giant, which isn't really that big of a deal because it's actually one of the better teams in the entire game. It's Yarrow Fire Mantle, Fire Giant, Dawnbringer, and Hindla. If you don't have Dawnbringer, you can go put a Black Mantle or really any purple weapon there. And the rest of them, you would just basically put any other giants that can get in, either spam Yarrow or spam Hindla. Basically, whichever one of the better legends you have, you just completely spam it, and that is what you end up using. But anyways, we're going to be going with this, just this full team, pretty standard giant team. What's pretty nice thing about Stormheim is not just the hero class, but the entire kingdom itself has a pretty decent synergy with each other. And with this particular team, all we really have to do is just get down one really nice burn, go through this for a poke, not miss an entire thing right there. But we'll go get the last little bit of our mana. Hopefully we could find it off the edge right here. Just need one of them to get to max, other than Hindla. We can throw her down, just keep summoning and go that way. But we'll just go kill it out on the burn. This will create a bunch of reds, and we just keep creating reds and yellows off the Yarrow. And we can basically just keep looping that until we inevitably win. But we'll go and move that over, get another Dawnbringer down. I don't think we'll need much else in there. No, so we'll just go get a nice Dawnbringer, get that down, and then just get 2 more hits. Looks like Hindla at this point should be enough to adjacent kill that. Nope, a little bit more. And down he goes. But pretty much just that. One pretty nice thing about Giants, as well as Stormheim Giants in particular, is it's the highest HP that you can ever get as a starting team. So ends up getting a bonus not only from the, well, it gets it from 3 different things. If we go into the little page real quick. Where to go? We got ourselves the 4 times Giants. If we go under pets or bonuses, we end up getting a Giant bonus for extra HP, which currently there's no pet for it, the Elemental bonus, and the Stormheim bonus, which gives a really gigantic amount of HP because it's a pure HP kingdom. But anyways, get a bunch of HP from that. As far as the hero class itself, as I mentioned, best hero class in the game. I keep forgetting where the new menu is all the way over here. But if we go over to this, go over to Titan. As far as its skills, pretty decent. Has 2 extra life to all giants. Then ends up gaining 1 additional life for every single extra turn. But the main one is, of course, all giants starting with half mana. This is particularly good with Yarrow Fire Mantle, as well as, of course, just any giants in the game. And also just synergizes well with itself, since obviously it does count as a giant itself, so it does get to start with half mana. As far as the actual trees, it has some of the most versatile trees in the game, as well as some of the best tree combination. On almost all of them are good options. There's almost no bad options you could really do. Though generally you go either to stun or the storm on the very first one. And then because these 2 are useless, you generally just go for the extra attack. Then you would end up going for the extra magic or for the extra brown armor, depending on which way you want to do it, either more defensive or offensive. Then you do it for either the Dust Storm if you want to offensively, or the +1 extra glory if you're going to be farming something like PvP. On the next tree, you start to get into the really good things, the next few, and the whole reason why you would even use this hero class to begin with. You end up gaining barrier every single brown you take. This is exceptionally good with things like Mountain Crusher, Dragon's Eye, and pretty much just anything. Mang. All you have to do is just constantly keep taking browns and you will keep getting barrier. And in combination with this Dust Storm, you're basically just constantly keeping yourself protected with barriers that you'll be able to take simply from taking a brown. So very, very protective, makes your hero extremely tanky, and just really great value overall. Next, you would go for either the Bloodthirsty, so you do the Enrage every single time you extra turn. Pretty good with skull spam teams and stuff like that. Or you can end up going for the Explode every single time you do an extra turn. Every extra turn will end up exploding a random yellow, and this will lead to a lot of board clear, as well as a lot of additional mana accumulation. And then finally, you have 2 different options. If you're running more of a giant team, you can switch to the Elemental bonus, which gives all elementals 1 extra magic every single time a ally casts a spell, or you can just go for the immunities. It is tied at the highest amount of immunities of any hero class, and it gains Stun, Poison, Disease, Death Mark, and Devour, with the most noteworthy ones being there is immune to Stun, as well as immune to Devour. Immune to Stun is pretty important because it actually protects you from all these traits being stunned, so you get to keep all of these really, really decent traits, like constantly gaining barrier, as well as the extra mana generation, so really, really good in that regard. And just overall, best hero class in the game. So definitely highly advised to go and get it pretty leveled if you don't already. I'm pretty sure a good majority of mid to late game players probably already have it maxed, just because it's really good for delving, it's really good for PvP, it's really good for raids and evasions. There's basically nothing you would not use it for, just that versatile. It's kind of like what Archer was before the perks. is basically what Titan is, except even better. But anyways, let's go and just show 2 teams real quick. One is basically the one we already just did, just because it's pretty standard giant team if you're ever going to bother running giants. Where on earth did it go? And then we'll just go into the low-level team, which you just saw there for a second. But yeah, definitely Titan works with everything. Delves, I've been using it with Mountain Crusher and Eye. For PvP, you can use it with really just any weapon you really want. It starts with half mana automatically. It works really good with trolls if you want to go like a Forest Troll in first slot followed by another troll. Defend teams tend to use it that way for things like Guild Wars, which is this week as well, so that ends up working quite conveniently. But yeah, definitely, if you haven't already gotten this hero class, a lot of people use it. It's really strong. Definitely get it to level 70 or 100. You start getting a good majority of its value at 40 because you then start getting the barrier every single time off of Browns. But 70 is also still fine. You don't really need the immunities or the extra bit of magic that ends up giving. It's mainly a little bit of explosion and that constant brown barrier off of 40 and 70 that really put the hero class together. So apparently we're not getting any burns right now, mainly because he has immune to nearly every single one of his troops have immune to it, so that's not really working out that well. I guess we'll go with plan B and just throw a skull at him and then like Euro or just get an adjacent damage kill. So we'll go to that. Since we don't appear to be able to get too many stats effects, just kill that out. We'll gain an extra turn, and then we'll finally be able to burn that, and then we can start doing triple damage to that if we so choose, and I believe we do choose. We'll go take that down, take the other skull, and that will definitely be enough damage. There's triple damage based on burning, and that is definitely enough to wipe it out. And that's that. On to the next one then. So, Budget Titan. Go into this one. Oh, that's a little bit of an annoying team. This is actually one of the teams I was just mentioning too. Well, I guess we don't need to go show it, but yeah, Forest Troll into Titan. Oh, he's not currently using Titan. But Forest Troll into Titan tends to be one of the more common ones used. And that exact team actually is the exact version that you would end up using. But let's go and not face that because that'd be a little bit too annoying. I guess we'll go up to the Skull Spam team. But next up, we're using Mang, Azura, Apothecary, and Dragonian Monk, all of which are ultra rare and below, other than the weapon you automatically get just from Brown and Red Hero Mastery, and the Azura you get for free from completing Upper Atlantis. Even though it isn't epic, it's still technically easier to even obtain than those two. But basically, as you'd normally play Azura, you basically just get it up as quickly as possible and then kind of just go from there. Mang, always really good against things that have higher stats than you, and that would include if you're a newer player just fighting things in PvP. And since we are using this hero class, every single Brown we take, if we could actually ever find a Brown, would end up giving us the barrier, which we'll be able to protect ourselves with. And we also get that explosion onto these yellows every single extra turn, get our barrier so that we don't die. And we just basically keep manging and going from there. And we can also do it with Enrage if we really wanted to, if we didn't want to get the extra bit of mana accumulation. And with this team, we have Azura to get rid of their barrier, Dispel, and just for mana accumulation. Also does some stat reduction. We have Apothecary to cleanse ourselves, which is basically the inverse of Dispel. Just cleanses everything off of our own troops, and also give us more Browns. And we have the Dragonian Monk, just in case this isn't enough protection. You could go replace that with Cockatrice or something else, but if your own Brown taking isn't enough protection, you can go with this and gain even more. But we'll go and just go down the Mang route, go do this on something that has a decent amount of armor. I guess we'll just do it right on there then, and then kind of work our way around. We'll get a nice Azure, just clear out the board, and basically just keep repeating that. And we'll need to focus down as many skulls as possible to kill it out with. Luckily, we can use things like Apothecary and Dragonian Monk to move the board as we need to try to get the skulls aligned if we can. We'll go to that, try to get a skull right there. It seems like we'll be able to get one. How much is his reduction? 33%. Is that enough damage? Nope, not if you Agile it won't be. But luckily, we do have that thing that does the stun. So he is now stunned, so we don't have to deal with those traits. But he just stole all of our attack, or at least a good portion of it. So we will not have enough damage to actually kill it right here. I guess we could take a skull and then explode kill it, so that'll probably be the way we do it then. So we'll go that way, get another Mang down because he took way too much of our mana right there. But move all this, kind of just leave that there for now. I don't think we really need to go for that drop. I guess we'll take that just so we get a nice little arch there. And it looks like it's just going to go down from there. Still, this thing was a little bit annoying in that it stole our attack. But 2 hits or so will basically take that out. I'm actually going to let that happen just because I think it'll do that and just give us a free skull. And the answer is no, he kills our Titan. Come on, Titan, you're supposed to live. It'll live with those barriers. And it'll stick 1 skull, and that'll basically wipe that out. And of course, I guess we'll show it because we might as well. It's one of the main things I've actually even have Titan set for in the first place. Why I've been having it set for like the last several weeks. But it is insanely good in Delves with either Mountain Crusher or with the Dragon's Eye. You can do basically any really version that you want to do. But if we just go in this faction real quick and just go, Of course, one of the normal teams I normally use it with is Dragon Eye / Mountain Crusher with Megavore, Arachnean Weaver, and Megavore. This actually works in all 3 of the current factions, and you can either go with either of the 2 weapons. But let's go to this. Let's go get the first battle done real quick. Eye in particular works very quickly on these battles because it transforms them into very useless little baby dragons that have almost no stats. But Mountain Crusher is actually more protective because it keeps creating a Brown Storm, which will give you more barriers, which will make sure you don't die. And also, obviously, you don't need to go with Megavores and Arachnean Weavers. It's a little bit more convenient to do so, but you can just simply substitute support troops for your Eye or your Mountain Crusher, or Mountain Crusher would be the support for the other one. But you just basically go with either of those and just play it out that way. Get that down, get another Arachnean Weaver, just throw a few hits, keep taking Browns, just make sure your hero always has barrier. That is really important because things in delves, like especially towards the later delves, hit so hard that they eventually just one-shot your hero, so you do want to make sure you have those barriers, otherwise it's going to go down. But anyways, that is basically everything with the new Titan. Highly advised to go get it up and go do the event if you haven't already. Get it to at least 40. 70 is also decent, even up to 100 if you really feel like going that far with it. But yes, best hero class in the game, probably going to be that way for a long while unless they're going to be nerfing it out of nowhere for some reason. And yeah, definitely go use Titan. Great for starting with high mana. It's just very versatile with skulls, great at casting, great at mana accumulation, great at board clear. There basically isn't a single thing that the Hourglass doesn't really do that well. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And goodbye, everyone.